Hello friends, welcome to Relifted Cinema. Today, we have prepared for you an extraordinary film based on reality, filled with mystery, in the genre of crime, drama, history, a great masterpiece from the renowned director Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. This film has managed to score 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb and 89 out of 100 on Metacritic. It has also won 13 awards and has been nominated for 34 additional awards. Writers, Eric Roth, Martin Scorsese, David Gran. Director, Martin Scorsese. Main cast, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone, Jesse Plemons, John Lithgow, and Brendan Fraser. Here's a brief summary of the movie.
Full summary. In the early 20th century, the Osage Nation in Oklahoma found themselves targets of a plot by William King Hale, who employed criminals to murder wealthy Osage members in order to seize their riches. Among the victims were the sisters and first husband of Molly Kyle, an Osage woman married to Hale's nephew, Ernest Burkhart, who was complicit in the scheme and even poisoned Molly's medication. Molly bravely sought justice, petitioning President Coolidge to investigate, leading to the involvement of the Bureau of Investigation and Agent Tom White. Despite Hale's efforts to obstruct justice, he and Ernest were eventually arrested, with Ernest breaking under the strain of his child's death to testify against Hale. Molly, disillusioned by Ernest's betrayals, divorced him and later remarried, passing away at 50. Although Hale was paroled after a life sentence, the episode remains a stark instance of injustice despite the continued resilience of the Osage Nation. All right, without any delay, let's get to the recap of this fascinating and must-see movie, so stay with us. Hope you enjoy.
Please hit like if you enjoyed the video. If you liked this content, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on new videos. Support us and make sure to share your thoughts with me in the community tab and comments. Now, let's get back to the video.
The film starts with a tribe of Osage natives conducting a ceremony to bury a peace pipe. They lament that the white man has arrived on their land, and their descendants will eventually be removed from their homes. Moments later, a group of men come across an oil deposit. Text and clips show that the Osage became the wealthiest people in the country, and it would not be long before others tried to get in on their profits. Ernest Burkhart, Leonardo DiCaprio, arrives in the Osage Nation in Oklahoma after World War I. He goes to his uncle, William King Hale, Robert De Niro, an influential figure in the area who has amassed his own wealth through businesses and his job as a reserve deputy sheriff. Ernest's brother Byron, Scott Shepard, also lives around. Hale tells Ernest about the Osage's wealth and how he must jump on the opportunity to profit from them. In the area, several Osage members have been murdered with no investigations taken. The perpetrators are men working under Hale trying to seize control of their wealth. One woman, Molly Kyle, Lily Gladstone, lives with her mother Lizzie Q, Tantu Cardinal, while her sisters Anna Brown, Cara Jade Myers, Rita, Janae Collins, and Minnie Jillian Dion also live in town. She meets Ernest when he gets a job working as a cab driver, and he begins to drive her around. Ernest genuinely develops feelings for Molly and eventually marries her. During the wedding, Hale notices Minnie looking sad and speaks to her. Minnie later dies of a wasting disease that is affecting some of the Osage. Lizzie is shown to favor Anna over the rest of her daughters, even though Anna is a dysfunctional alcoholic that carries a gun in her purse. During Minnie's funeral, Lizzie tells Molly that she saw an owl fly into her room, which is supposed to be an omen of death. Days later, Anna is found murdered after being shot in the head. The doctors in town, who also work for Haley, dismember Anna's body to supposedly fin the bullet. Hale employs a number of criminals to carry out the murders. Molly speaks to a private investigator, William J. Burns, Gary Basaraba, but Hale sends Ernest and Byron out to assault him to get him off their backs. Ernest also engages in criminal activity, such as gambling with stolen jewelry taken from Osage victims. Meanwhile, Ernest has 3 children with Molly, Cowboy, Elizabeth, and a baby named after Anna.
The Osage Council convenes to deliberate on the heinous murders within their midst, seeking a course of action. They draw distressing parallels to the racial conflagration in Tulsa, within the same jurisdiction. Amidst this turmoil, Molly's health begins to deteriorate, manifesting a debilitating wasting disease that is exacerbated by Ernest's surreptitious poisoning, administering a toxic substance in her diabetic insulin treatment. Concurrently, infant Anna is afflicted by a persistent cough, prompting a quest for medical attention, which Molly approaches with caution, eschewing conventional physicians. In the local environs, Henry Roan, portrayed by William Bellow, a figure once wed to Molly prior to Ernest, displays a pattern of inebriated despondency, vocal about his transgressions and seemingly acquiescent to a premature demise. One of Hale's associates seeks to covertly transport Roan from the town and execute him. The attempt is botched, resulting in an unmistakable homicide due to a gunshot from behind rather than the intended appearance of self-demise. The fallout sees Hale inflict punitive violence upon Ernest for the mishandled execution. The community is further beset by tragedy as another resident, Charlie Whitehorn, played by Anthony J. Harvey, is discovered lifeless amidst a scant puddle of petroleum. As Lizzie succumbs to an unknown illness, Molly and Rita provide vigilant comfort. In her twilight moments, Lizzie envisions ancestral Osage figures escorting her to the ethereal plains. Subsequently, a nocturnal explosion jolts the slumber of Ernest and Molly. The source: Rita's abode. Ernest arrives to find a critically wounded Bill Smith beseeching for an end to his misery, while Rita lies deceased, a victim of the blast. Ernest bears the heart-rending confirmation of Rita's fate to Molly, igniting her profound grief. With her health in precarious decline, Molly experiences hallucinations, including sightings of an owl, a spectral vision once seen by her mother. Nonetheless, Molly summons the fortitude to venture to Washington, D.C., intent on personally imploring President Calvin Coolidge for a thorough investigation into the escalating violence. Ernest finds himself the subject of inquiries by Bureau of Investigation, Agent Tom White, played by Jesse Plemons, probing the local murders. White extends his scrutiny to Hale, who maintains a facade of ignorance regarding the atrocities. In a twist of desperation, Hale initiates a purge among his own ranks in a futile attempt to erase his misdeeds. However, White's diligence unveils the grim reality, culminating in the apprehension of both Ernest and Hale. Molly's well-being took a dire turn. It became so tenuous that intervention by agents was inevitable. They swept in, providing the medical succor she needed to mend and recover her vim and vigor. Meanwhile, Ernest, amidst an intense interrogation, willingly subjected himself to the toxin's vile embrace, suffering its crippling grasp. W.S. Hamilton, Ernest's lawyer portrayed by Brendan Fraser, attempted to coax him to proclaim he'd been subjected to abuse, to pummeling and torture, so his words wouldn't hold up in court. Hamilton's insinuations bore a sinister undertone. Play along or you, and your kin, pay dearly. These fabrications even trickled back to Molly. Amidst this turmoil, the air grew heavier with sorrow. Baby Anna succumbed to the chokehold of whooping cough. The bearer of this grievous news was White, whose words splintered Ernest's resolve, propelling him to renounce his fealty to Hale and stand in the harsh light of truth. At the trial, Ernest presented his confession to Prosecutor Leeward, played by John Lithgow. With much at stake, he divulged how Hale had ensnared him in a nefarious web woven around the Osage, targeting Molly and her lineage to funnel their fortune away. When probed about his marriage to Molly, a glint of sincerity shone through. Love was his true north when he vowed to be hers. Yet in a private communion with Molly, Ernest's truth was but a sliver of the whole. Questioned about the injections he administered, he veiled his actions under the guise of insulin. This half-truth was Molly's final straw, and she departed from him. As if lifted from the reels of a bygone era, the film's narrative unfurled further through radio waves, culminating in an epilogue narrated on air. Hale, once ensnared by the law's unyielding grasp, earned parole with a lifelong exile from Oklahoma, his return only a whisper among rumors. Martin Scorsese emerged, not as a famed director, but as a radio producer, to herald the closing note, Molly's epitaph. Having distanced herself from a marred past with a divorce and a new love, Molly's life wove to its end at the age of 50, her resting place nestled among her ancestors. Her story, merged with that of her family's untimely demises, dissolved into silence untouched by justice's gavel. The film's closing frame, a testament to resilience, a present-day Osage drum ceremony. The air pulsated with the rhythm of heartbeats anchored in tradition, the Osage people united, their song and dance a vibrant declaration of endurance through the ages.